My name is Duke Webb, and if you're watching this right now, it's because I have some extremely important information to share with you to help tell my side of the story to the fullest extent possible, prove my innocence, and clear my name. Unfortunately, it's going to be extremely difficult to beat my case without your help and support. But first, I want to welcome you to my page and say thank you for accepting my friend request, and more importantly, thank you for your support and for sticking by my side through this most difficult process and an unfortunate situation I'm in. While it would be unwise for me to speak directly about certain aspects of my case, I absolutely intend to share as many things with you as possible to help you understand what was going on and accurately tell my side of the story to the fullest extent possible and show people who I am and what I'm about. I don't have access to the internet, so I've never been able to see what the media has to say about me. But what I have seen are their police reports that the police produced directly after watching the surveillance videos. And I can tell you right here and right now that the police reports are filled with many lies and mischaracterizations of what really happened. Therefore, I can reasonably deduce that they very likely lied to the media outlets as well. And if they lied to the media, then it's very likely that you've been told the same lies. And we all know the large majority of Americans believe what they see and are told in the news and are therefore biased against me. And unfortunately, I have a tremendous uphill battle ahead of me. And to overcome that bias, excuse me, I desperately need your help, and I request your help. Those of you that know me know better than to believe the story the media told and were bold enough to say so in their interviews. I won't say all your names because you know who you are. Thanks for standing with me. With that being said, the police and media have made it near impossible for me to get a fair trial due to the lies they propagated. Now it's my turn to tell my side of the story, and to do so to the fullest extent possible, and that's the purpose of this page. My vision is to get as much positive attention to my page as possible. So if you know of any people, organizations, news organizations, or reporters or influencers willing to help tell my side of the story, please send them to my page and let me know. If you have pictures of me, please send them as I'm running low on military pictures. If you have videos of me blowing stuff up, please send them as well, because I have ones out there that are about 100 times more powerful than the one that's currently posted. Send me AT-4, Carl G, mortar, M107 sniper rifle, heavy machine gun, fast roping, rappelling, helo casting, and any other pictures and videos that you can find of me, or just in general. Please send them my way. I'm looking for talented Green Berets that can help do a little scholarly article research and medical research that's relevant to the military. So if that's you, please hit me up. If you have a particular way you want to help out, or if you want to help but don't know how, please let me know and I'll put you to work. For everyone else in general, I need as many comments as possible to draw people's attention to my page. I'm working and running this one-man special operations task force by myself, and this is my non-standards comms package to reach the masses with my story. And this is just one of my many lines of effort I've been working as part of my overall strategy. If you know me, then you know what I care about most is clearing my name. An essential part of that is educating you, the public, and potential jurors on the laws so that everyone can clearly see, know, and understand what the law has to say about me. So, without further delay, let me start off by telling you that I've spent most of my adult life fighting to protect our Constitution and the American value system of God, family, and country we all enjoy, and which our founding fathers so expertly spelled out when they founded the greatest constitutional republic on the face of this planet. But to be quite honest with you, it wasn't until these past few years of diligently studying the law that I've really developed a profound understanding and appreciation for the American system of government that our founding fathers sought to establish. And just as importantly, this great system was specifically designed to protect you from the government itself. Unfortunately, most Americans just don't understand how much our founding fathers did for us, or just how much they sacrificed in fighting for our freedoms. Because if more Americans were adequately educated and understood this, then I guarantee we would once again have a country that was united under these godly principles. And we'd have a lot more civilians lining up for the privilege of serving their country rather than the huge decline in military recruitment we've seen these past few years. You may be surprised to learn that our current system of government is founded on the theory that it's better that 10 guilty people should escape than for one innocent person should suffer. Well, guess what? Benjamin Franklin took things further by saying that it's better for 100 guilty people to escape than for one innocent person should suffer. Allow me to give you a few of the more basic examples that everyone should be familiar with. Now, you've probably heard that you have a right to a fair trial by an impartial jury, right? Of course you have. But what does that actually mean to you? Now, how do you go about finding out if the jury can actually be impartial or if they have hidden biases and prejudice against you? The short answer is the voir dire process of jury selection. That allows you to ask the jurors questions designed to identify and filter out potential biases and prejudices from their responses, assuming they answer truthfully, like they're supposed to, of course. Voir dire is French for speak the truth, and is a fundamental right and tool you have at your disposal. But it's up to you and your attorney to exercise that right. What I want to talk to you about today is the zero principles. And these are the 4 things the judge is mandated to ensure that the selected and impaneled jury members understand and accept. I say understand and accept because it's one thing to know and understand a legal principle, but it's a completely different level to accept and swear to apply that legal principle. Thus, it's inherent that the judge ensure that the jury not only understand each principle, but also to ensure that they will be willing to apply these principles. So, let's conduct a quick test to see if you meet the basic requirements to be a member of the jury. Now, picture yourself for me on jury duty, and the judge is seated before you and asks you if you understand that the defendant is presumed innocent of the charges against him. Well, of course you do. That's an easy enough principle to understand. But can you honestly sit there and tell me that you'll be able to apply this principle? I highly doubt it. To apply this principle, you have to literally look at the defendant as if he's innocent from the very beginning. But your studies show that most people fail to do so, stating that they presume that the government wouldn't waste its time bringing you to trial if you weren't guilty. Well, guess what? That's a clear violation of my constitutional rights. Moving on to principle 2, which is, do you understand that before a defendant can be convicted, the state must prove the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Now, if you can honestly tell me that you understand this distinct legal principle, then you're one of the few. Because empirical research and juror studies time and time again prove that jurors often have no clue what this means and often seek guidance from the judge. Unfortunately, judges in Illinois will not define beyond a reasonable doubt for the jurors because they say that the words themselves are no different than their ordinary meaning. That in itself is misleading because it's an extremely important legal concept that has profound influence on how the jurors determine their verdict. Most jurors tend to believe that a person is guilty if it's more likely than not that the defendant is guilty. Others think it's about whose side they want to win. And I recently heard one juror express frustration over Governor Abbott because she thought the prosecutor had a good case. Well, guess what? All 3 of these are constitutional violations. That's right. Well, let me tell you, there are 3 levels of legal certainty in the American justice system. The first and lowest level is called beyond a preponderance of the evidence. And mostly applies to civil cases. But you must have 51% or more confidence for this level. The next level is called clear and convincing evidence. And a confidence level of 65 to 75 is often attributed to this level. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or a Special Forces intelligence sergeant to see the pattern of the pattern here. That's right. The legal term of beyond a reasonable doubt means that you need to be between 95 and 99% certain of guilt before you can convict a defendant. The problem is that jurors don't understand this. And the state of Illinois isn't allowed to explain the term for the jurors. Because if they do, then they risk saying something that would make the jurors think it's less significant than it actually is. And if they do that, then it's a clear violation of my constitutional rights. Judges are right in saying that the words don't have any other meaning than they would in everyday language. That's very true. Unfortunately, most jurors aren't experts in the English language or the law. So let's break this down in the most simple terms by examining one word at a time. What does beyond mean? That's right. Over, above, more than, or past. The word a is obviously singular. A equals one and only one. Reasonable denotes something that has common sense, logic, or reason to it. Doubt is an uncertainty. Not sure, not fully convinced. And so we put this together. When we put this together, the legal standard as broken down by yours truly means that at the end of the day, if you have just one doubt, and that one and only doubt is rooted in common sense, reason, or logic, then the government has failed to prove me guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and you must acquit me of all charges. That is a textbook breakdown that's true to the term and which doesn't violate my constitutional rights. Many states and governments like to add a bunch of words to the definition to make it more confusing for the jurors, but my definition is 100% accurate. And again, it means that at the end of the day, if you have just one doubt, and that one and only doubt is rooted in common sense, reason, or logic, then the government has failed to prove me guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And you must acquit me of all charges. The third principle is that the defendant is not required to offer any evidence on his behalf. That's there because you're supposed to be able to rely on the state's inability to actually prove you guilty. But studies show that jurors expect you to prove your innocence. The fourth and last principle is that the defendant has rights to testify or not to testify, and the defendant's choice not to testify can't be held against him. Again, most jurors expect the defendant to testify and actually do hold it against them. All right, like I said, these are some of the most basic principles offered to each and every American. How did you fare? Did you pass the most basic test to be a member of the jury? Please let me know your thoughts. The more comments I get adds up to the more and more people see my page, which equals more and more people I get to tell my side of the story in order to prove my innocence and clear my name. Thanks for your time, love, and support. And remember, you saw it here first.